What it look like TV.
I am back. What it do, baby?
YouTube's own Varnell Hill.
Did you miss me?
And we back, man. We back, and we got an update on the whole Ben Hart versus daughter situation, or pretty much Ben Hart's daughter versus him. And if you don't know who Ben Hart is, he's the oldest active breakdancer in the United States. But anyway, this whole thing kicked off with his daughter putting this video out there, and it's just a little summary of how we got to this point.
What's a piece of trauma that you have that's funny? It has to actually be funny. I'll go first. My dad abandoned my family when I was 5 years old. That is a wife and 4 kids. He abandoned us and then pursued amateur breakdancing.
Thank you, Shaq.
This guy wouldn't pay my medical bill. Like, there was no split custody or anything. Like, he just left 4 kids to do that. He may not have paid for some of my medical bills growing up, but he did give me this breakdancing merchandise. So that if you have funny trauma, like actual funny haha trauma, I need to hear it. Thank you.
Okay, she had that to say. And then Dad came back and answered very eloquently while not throwing his daughter under the bus with this.
Mom, my ex-wife, got $2 million at the get-go, out of the gate, a lump sum payment. Plus, I was paying her $18,000 per month in child support and alimony. This was later reduced to $12,000 per month. And of course, I paid health insurance and out-of-pocket medical costs. I also put $600,000 into the kids' college fund. In all, I paid out about $5 million to my ex-wife to cover costs for her and the kids. And this is in 2005 dollars. So add 50% to account for inflation. I saw the kids all the time. No abandonment, just a divorce.
Okay, and like I said, you would imagine that with all that being said, and I kind of alluded to in the video, you would just want to have some conversations with your mom. You know what I mean? Because Dad played his part. But oh no, she wants to double down on her father just being the worst individual on the planet.
I know my dad posted like a 10-minute video or whatever being like, you know, my daughter's lying. We have a great relationship. I have a great relationship with all my kids. That's just objectively not true. Like, guys, we're all freaking out about this in my family group chat right now. We're being like, he's so unhinged and delusional. We don't know if he actually believes his own narrative or if he's lying on purpose, but he's just like a weird guy. Yeah, he said he lived down the street from us. That's not true. Or like if he did, it was only for a few.
Hold on. Is it not true? Or was it only maybe for a few months? You're talking out of both sides of your face.
Maybe, but actually for most of my childhood, he lived in Florida with his new wife. Like basically, like, I don't want to get into this. Like, again, like my video was basically like sanitizing the situation and like poking fun at the lightest parts of that childhood trauma. But obviously in real life, it was a lot more like complicated and traumatic, and it was really hard. He left us, immediately married another woman. We didn't hear from him for years. And then he would visit every few months and we'd go out to dinner.
He left and you didn't hear from him for years, but he would visit every few months and we would go out to dinner, but not like, are y'all hearing us? Are y'all hearing us?
Like, he truly had no hand in raising us at all. We don't speak with any sort of regularity. He doesn't know when my birthday is. Like, as you guys saw in the video I posted, he got it wrong. He gave us some money growing up. I honestly don't know the nitty gritty of the financial situation.
He told you, you know, you lived in the suburbs. You saw how hard your mom was working, and you and your 3 siblings all went to Division I colleges and lived in the lap of luxury. He explained to you what happened. If anything, like I said, you need to be having a conversation with your mother about why are you angry at your father. That's the conversation you need to be having.
I really, really don't. But I do know that several times I've asked him for financial help with medical expenses, like especially like in college, and he wouldn't help me. So that's what I was referring to in my video when I was like, he wouldn't pay some of my medical bills. I'll probably delete this in the morning, but I'm, 2 hard kombuchas in. And so I feel the need to kind of defend me and my family's like POV. Bottom line is this guy.
Do you realize how her whole narrative is, it's the whole family? Like she's trying to turn the whole family, and it's sad because she doesn't even realize that this is a tactic that was taught to her that was used against her father. Now she's able to use it as a master manipulator too. She keeps talking about how everybody else feels the way she feels. If they felt like that, they have a camera on their phone, or they can express it to them. They don't need you to express it to them for them.
A completely absent father. He's like, I was just a bike ride away from those kids. And it's like, not once did any of us ever take a bike ride to his house. I don't think I've ever been in his house ever. So this whole thing is so bizarre. Like, I'm so surprised that he responded to my video, because I'm just like, damn, I could have actually made you seem like way worse than I made you seem. Like,
why would you even say that?
In my video, I just made you seem like such a whimsical, funny guy. Like, but in real life, it was actually a lot darker. So I'm so surprised that he responded to it. And it's obviously kind of hurtful and weird. But again, we don't really have a relationship. So at the end of the day, it doesn't have a huge effect on me. It's just kind of a bummer for my family. And we're all kind of looking at this and looking at his response. And we're just like, this is crazy. If this is actually his narrative, it's like delusional.
Okay, now we're going to pause him for a second. But I want y'all to remember, basically, this guy's the scum of the earth.
He's so unhinged and delusional.
Once he stepped away from the family and he left the mother, it was no contact. They never saw him. He was missing in action. Y'all remember that. And we already know that he said he gave up the $5 million. 2.2 immediately, 180,000 a month. Then it got dropped down to 120 a month.
Guy was a completely absent father.
We already said that. You know what I mean? We already let that be known. Now it's only fair, with all that being said, daughter or not, that this man gets to defend himself, because he is running an ad agency, which is quite successful if he was able to give his wife $5 million over the course of, the divorce and the alimony and the child support and everything. So let's see how Dad defends himself. And once again, Dad does an excellent job defending himself.
I'm not going to go through all of Maddie's points here, most of which are just a repeat of what her mom's been telling the kids for the last 19 years.
Guy was a completely absent father.
Okay, so let's roll tape to see what childhood was actually like for my kids. And let's see how my relationship was with the kids even after the divorce. We have with us here Maddie Hart. She is a YouTube specialist. How many videos, Maddie, do you have on YouTube now?
About 54.
And what is your goal?
One day I want to be a partner.
What does that mean?
It means you get paid to make videos. Yeah.
So, Maddie, I'd like some more YouTube insights and clarification. What is the difference between a subscriber and a viewer and a friend? So you have about 300 subscribers, but how many viewers of your...
Okay, this is a different event.
Okay, we're gonna head to the water. We're at Lake Michigan, up in Wisconsin, just about an hour north of Chicago. Probably limits to it. You probably can do it.
You're allowed to download Final Credits.
In Indiana, just outside Chicago, it's the largest water park in the Chicagoland area. Hi, Maddie.
Hi.
So what are your reflections on the day?
It was pretty good, except for this really mean lady.
That was a mean lady, yeah. But all right. So how would you summarize the day at the water park?
It was pretty good. That lady was funny.
How would you rate?
Devin, Joseph.
Okay, he had graduations.
He's so unhinged and delusional.
Is it just me, or did that man just provide visual evidence that he was there from the time them kids was little all the way to the time they was graduating from places?
Guy was a completely absent father.
What is she talking about? But anyway, we don't need to clean it up. We're going to let Ben clean it up. Take it away, Ben.
Told Maddie I liked 98% of her video, but that there were some significant inaccuracies in there. like about me not paying medical bills. That's just not true. And the implication was that I was some kind of deadbeat dad.
Guy was a completely absent father.
I paid her mom millions of dollars in alimony, child support, put hundreds of thousands of dollars into the kids' college funds, paid for their health insurance, of course, and out-of-pocket medical costs, as I should have. The result was that the kids were able to live in a wealthy suburb of Chicago, attend top colleges, and pursue very good careers.
Guy was a completely absent father.
Anyways, I asked Maddie to take down her video and at least correct the damaging inaccuracies.
Now listen to this part. This part right here was hurtful as hell. Listen to this.
It just wasn't true that I wasn't covering medical costs. I told her almost everyone I know had seen it, including clients. It had the potential to hurt my business, hurt me professionally. And I certainly don't think she meant any harm by her first video.
Guy was a completely absent father.
Now he explained the implications from her hurtful video on his business, the business that was able to provide a great lifestyle for her and her siblings. And look at the way they treat Ben.
But she declined to take down her video because she said her video had gone viral. So she didn't want to take it down. So I came back a day or so later and told her that I had posted a response video on X. I told her the video response is very mild and very positive. It just corrects a couple of inaccuracies. And at that point, my video on X only had a few hundred views. She watched my video and seemed to like it. Thought it was...
When she had the leverage and the joke was on Dad, she ain't want to take the video down because she thought the whole world was going to ride in her delusional bubble with her. This is how entitled these kids are nowadays. She really thought people was going to ride with this.
Funny. So then I suggested, since you aren't going to take down your video and correct it, I would at least like you to post my response video on your feed. I explained to her that people will love it, predicted that it would get millions of views on her channel, because her videos often get millions of views. I also suggested to her that after my response video, I could fly out to Los Angeles. We could then do a collaboration video, sitting down together and hash out these issues. People would love that, I said, but she declined. So I really had no choice but to put up my response video to set the record straight, even if it only gets 200 views, which is about what I expected.
Smart man. Smart man. Because he knew he had to have a record somewhere for his potential clients and clients to go and hear his side. Because what was said about him was very damaging. And any man, you know what I mean, that's a stand-up family man, most likely wouldn't want to do business with a man that did his family like that. So he pretty much had to put a response video up.
Well, then my response video really started to blow up. It hit 1 million views in about 12 hours. Then 5 million views, 10 million views, 20 million views, 30 million views, and on up from there. Maddie's mom started to freak out, sent me long text messages telling me to take my video down. I'm like, but Maddie's video is still up and has 7 million views, and that's just on TikTok. Yeah. Plus, Maddie has posted a much more negative second video, full of inaccuracies.
Yes.
Maddie's mom and I had some very ugly legal proceedings that Maddie is largely unaware of. I don't talk about it. But our divorce was probably worse than most. I lived in LaGrange, Illinois from 2007 to 2011, just down the street from the kids. Saw the kids all the time. Then in 2011, Wanda and I bought a house in Willowbrook, Illinois, which is about an 8-minute drive from the kids. Maddie's mom then got remarried in 2012. She moved to Wilmette, Illinois, which is about a 1-hour drive north from our house.
Stop. Did y'all notice that trend? Did anybody notice that trend? When he moved out to be with his new woman or whatever their situation was, when he left, he moved a mile away at first to be accessible and right next to the family, to make sure he was there for them children and make sure he was there for her if she needed him. And then when they moved and they upgraded and they got a bigger house, he only moved 8 miles away, made sure he was still accessible. Soon as she remarried, she moved an hour away. Where's the fair ball in that? And you paying for everybody's life.
The kids were older by this point. I continued to see all kids who wanted to see me, would make the 1-hour drive to Wilmette, if any kid wanted to hang out with me. Now, teenage girls generally want to do their thing with their friends. I saw my son the most because he wanted to. I don't force the kids to hang out with me. If they want to hang out, cool. If they don't want to hang out, fine.
Fair.
Generally, teenage girls don't like to hang out with their parents.
Fair.
They like to hang out with their friends. Maddie is correct that the girls did not come over to the house, even though we were very close by. They came 3 times. Once to our place in LaGrange, which was a bit more than a mile down the street from her house, and they came twice to our house in Willowbrook, which was an 8-minute drive. And that was it. The girls didn't want to validate my wife, Wanda. We've been married since 2006. So the girls did not want to come over to the house, even though we were just down the street. It was a solidarity thing with Mom. My son Peter would sometimes hang out at the house. He didn't seem to have any problem with Wanda. But usually we went to movies, restaurants, water parks, a beach on Lake Michigan, paintball gunfight parks, that kind of thing.
So in other words, your daughters ended up missing out on great times with their dad because Mom was in their ear still jealous, even though she was remarried. Or she wasn't remarried at that time, so she probably was sitting in the house stewing. But still, man, look what y'all do to y'all kids, man. Look what y'all rob y'all kids of because y'all can't keep y'all kids out of y'all business. It's disgusting, man. And young lady, you need to go have a conversation with your mother.
Anyways, no, we did not move to Florida. Wanda and I bought a second house in Florida in 2015. But we still maintained the Illinois house. And remember, the kids were older by this point. 2 were in college, 2 were in high school. The kids were doing their own thing by this point. We would typically stay in Florida in the winter, and then stay in Illinois when the weather was nice, in the spring, the summer, and the fall. Okay, so Maddie graduated from Northwestern University in 2021. Upon graduation, she went to Los Angeles in hopes of becoming a Hollywood screenwriter.
Okay.
She asked me for $5,000 to help get her set up in Los Angeles, which I agreed to against my better judgment. Basically, I have trouble saying no to Maddie.
Whoa, fam, you supposed to be a bad dad.
Guy was a completely absent father.
Bad dads don't do that.
That's another tendency of divorced dads. We really can't say no to our daughters. In addition, her mom and I bought her a used car, a Ford Fiesta. I think her mom and I pitched in $2,500 each. Maddie might have put in some money also. I think the car was about $7,500. I also...
Whoa, fam, you supposed to be a bad dad.
Guy was a completely absent father.
Cut it out. You destroying the narrative.
Signed a lease for her on her apartment. Now this is very different from how I was treated by my dad when I graduated from college. My dad gave me 0 after my last day in college. He was done. Now I'm not complaining.
But I ain't graduate.
I love my dad. I wasn't expecting anything. And I think that's how it was for most kids in those days. Once college was done, the kids were expected to stand on their own 2 feet.
That's why you went to college. That's why you go to college, to stand on your own 2 feet.
Instantly. Like the day after graduation. At some point, you just have to throw the kid into the deep end of the pool and see if he or she can make it. That's how it worked in those days, but not these days apparently. So against my better judgment, I gave Maddie $5,000 for adulthood startup money in LA,
Bad dad.
co-signed her apartment lease, and paid $2,500 toward her used Ford Fiesta.
Guy was a completely absent father.
But also, she had broken up with her boyfriend around this time. She said she needed to go to grief counseling and therapy. She and her mom wanted me to pay for that too. That's where I drew the line. I consider medical care to be like when you're sick or have a broken leg or need stitches, got into a car accident, stuff like that. Not grief counseling over a breakup with a boyfriend. Also, counseling and psychology today are completely dominated by far-left female wokesters. Almost no males in that profession. So no doubt her therapist would be telling her the problem was her dad. The last thing I wanted to pay for was more brainwashing against her dad and against men in general. So I guess these were the medical bills that I was refusing to cover. Now she did land a job in LA with NBC Peacock streaming, and that was going very well for her. She loved it. She was an assistant writer for a show. But then the writer's strike hit, which lasted about 6 months, and she temporarily lost her job or was laid off at NBC Peacock streaming. She, of course, approached me to see if I could help her out with funds. Otherwise...
Whoa, but y'all don't have a relationship. Y'all don't have a relationship though, and you a bad dad. You an absent father. Why is she contacting you?
She said she'd be forced to move back to Chicago and live with Mom. So I
Okay.
agreed to pay her $250 per week while the writer's strike was still going on.
Guy was a completely absent father.
And until she could land some other kind of work, even temporary work. And I told her this would be a month-to-month thing. I wasn't going to just pay her $250 per week indefinitely. She might have to get work at a car wash or Starbucks if this writer's strike doesn't end soon. Or, God forbid, get a job at a bank. So I paid the $250 per week, I think for 10 weeks, until she
Another $2,500.
was able to land a job at Netflix, which apparently was not affected by the writer's strike for some reason. Okay, back to Maddie's Hollywood career. Eventually, the Hollywood writer's strike ended, and she got her job back on the show she was working on for NBC
Okay.
Peacock streaming.
Okay.
But she still constantly needed money from me. These Hollywood jobs pay almost nothing at the junior level.
But you a bad dad, man.
Guy was a completely absent father.
Yes, it is a financial struggle for her. But this idea that Maddie and I have not had a good relationship is just not true. Well, at least in my mind. Of course, it's possible she's thinking something differently than what she's showing. But let's just randomly scroll through our text conversations to see what they're like. For one thing, we're texting with each other all the time, just literally all the time. Back and forth with, little emojis and love, I love you. Hi, Dad, for Christmas, I want a specific fabric tapestry. I've been eyeing it forever, and I want it in my room so badly. It's $300. Is this something you'd be willing to get me for Christmas instead of the usual check?
Guy was a completely absent father.
I answer, okay. When will you be arriving in Illinois? 12:22, she says, exclamation point. Okay, good, I say.
Sounds like they communicate pretty often or regularly to me. For somebody to be in Chicago or Florida and for somebody to be in California, this guy is totally winning the bad dad category, man. Like, he's smashing everybody in the bad dad category.
Exclamation point. I'll be there then too. When do you get in? Looks like everyone wants to do dinner Friday night. I get in Friday. Put me down. Love. Another love here, one of these love type things right here.
And if you noticed on that, she said everybody. Everybody's talking dinner. So once again, I don't think everybody that she was referring to at the beginning of the video is backing her.
Like that. And that's pretty much just kind of how we communicate all the time. It's just, I love you and all this stuff. And she just tells me about what's going on in her life pretty much every day. My plane made it. Sorry I missed you. How was your Christmas? Thanks. That's what our conversation's like, and literally they're just all the time like that. So it just goes and 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 goes. So I don't actually know how you could have a better relationship if you just read through those texts.
That's the crazy.
And it's constant. Let's see, I'm scrolling through my text conversations with Maddie, and here I'm reminded that on August 7th, 2023, I pay her $750 for medical bills. Wait, I thought I wasn't paying medical bills. And I have no idea what this medical bill was. Maybe it was the counseling, maybe it was the therapy. I have no idea. And remember that birthday I forgot? Turns out I didn't actually forget it. On March 8th of 2023, Maddie texts me and says she blew out a tire and broke a rim on her car, and that it would cost $700 to fix. I texted back, I'll send you $200 early for birthday. Then maybe Mom can send you a bit. Maddie texts back, OMG, exclamation point. That's nice, Dad. That really helps with the car. Then when her birthday actually arrived, I just lost track of what day it was. I'm a writer and I tend to zone out sometimes.
You already
I often
the
don't know
gift,
what
man.
month it is,
You
much
already
less
said
what the
happy
actual day
birthday
is.
early.
So then when I wished her a happy belated birthday a couple of days late, I guess I accidentally hit the question mark instead of the exclamation point. So it was happy birthday, question mark. It was just an error, kind of a funny error though. Happy birthday, question mark. Now the male brain would think nothing of this, but the female brain will search for hidden meaning in the question mark. Nope.
You fishing, Ben. You fishing. You fishing. They threw you under the bus. You was right at the beginning. Your ex-wife done brainwashed her and the other daughter. The son done made it through, but they brainwashed. And even though they love you to death and you in communication, when the things go bad, they look to you. Your ex-wife has programmed them to look at you as an ATM, pretty much. And programmed in to the young lady's minds that somehow you're evil and wrong because she's still hurt from you leaving.
No meaning, just a typo in a text message. Do you ever make typos in text messages? Oh, and she says to me, "Happy belated birthday, Dad. I had it in my calendar wrong.
Wow.
I hope you had the best day ever. Did you do anything fun? Thank you, Maddie. We just went out to dinner.
Wow.
Nothing much. Hope you were doing well. Love you." By the way, I don't think my dad ever remembered.
So you forgetting his birthday. You forgetting his birthday. You need the planner for his birthday. And you mad at him for forgetting yours. But anyway, man, Ben goes on to continually break this down. But I had to show y'all this because to me it was simply amazing that she just didn't take the L and bow out. She made this man come out and pretty much had to prove the fact that he wasn't a deadbeat dad all along while having a relationship with his daughter. But she's so caught up in the trance that you can't even say that you have a great relationship with your dad and he loves you and he's here for you. But you're an adult. You got to stand on your own. But anyway, y'all tell me how y'all feel about this one. If you'd have made it to this point in the video, you are my MVP.
It was a stone groove, my man.
I'm out of here.
Guy was a completely absent father. I don't